Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about you in the video? This is a paid request this time for Travis. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, it could be a topic, randomness, review, re-review, whatever it may be, commentary, reaction, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. Down below, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. But this is a topic, interesting one, where Travis asked in bit of a wrestling one. Who's the better tag team? The WWF Demolition Man, not Demolition Man, WWF Demolition, or the NWA, WCW, WWF, the Road Warriors? So who is better, Demolition or the Road Warriors? Now, to take a few steps back, wrestling, when I was growing up, we did not have the channels that had wrestling on it. We had VHS tapes. One was, I think, a WrestleMania one, like Coliseum, like best of, and then one was Hulk Hogan. And we had a couple Hulk Hogan ones, because I will admit, seeing those tapes and seeing movies like Supreme Commando, I was a Hulk Hogan fan back in the day. I will admit that. And then there was like a random tape my aunt sent us, which had, and this is the time period, I wish I still had that tape, where it had wrestling of the likes of Repo Man, Razor Ramon, Doink the Clown, a Berserker. You remember Berserker? He's the guy that, and just throw people over the rope. And like he would win by throwing them out and count out. I remember there's a point he had a sword. He almost tried to stab the Undertaker with the fucking sword. Jesus. I'm sure all you remember Repo Man. Repo Man. But, so I didn't grow up a lot with some of these guys, but throughout the years watching more, I would say I've seen much more Road Warrior stuff than Demolition. Demolition I would see pop up in like a WrestleMania or SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and I would see bits of those. So nostalgic wise, I'm much more the Road Warriors guy, which in WWF they were called the Legion of Doom. When I look more into this, I will say this. If you're judging it solely based on WWF, you'd have to go with Demolition. And again, I don't mind Demolition watching more of their stuff. They're fine. It's just, again, I didn't grow with them. I like the Road Warriors. I like the way they look more. I like their costumes more with the red and the spikes. I like the music more. Their intro. I like their finishing move more. Like Demolition has the decapitation where one guy puts their opponent on their knee and the other comes down with the elbow. The Doomsday Device by Road Warriors is much more dangerous. But it looks much more like, ooh, shit. Where they hoist the guy up and they get up and they just fucking clothesline the guy. The guy falls back. But then you have to be careful doing that shit, or otherwise you will paralyze someone. But yeah, it was a very nasty but crazy looking finishing move, the Doomsday Device. So it just seemed more effective. But again, if you just looked at their WWF run, Demolition Man, I keep wanting to say Demolition Man. Demolition was better because you look at the track record. Demolition, the opponents they faced, they had a better run in WWF than Legion of Doom. I'll just call them Legion of Doom, just that's what we're called. Axe and Smash, the two people in Demolition, they beat Strikeforce, Tito Santana, and Rick Martel, and they were champions for like 470 some days. And they beat them like WrestleMania 4. And then you look at, it was from 1987 to 1991, I believe. So they were there longer than Legion of Doom was. And, you know, the look is like Kiss, the band Kiss met Lord Humongous from the Road Warriors. And they just have more opponents to deal with, it seemed. More momentum. Where, oh, here's them teaming up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They face off against Andre the Giant and a team and the Big Boss Man. Oh, they beat Andre and Haku in WrestleMania 6. Oh, there's sometimes a battle in the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. It just seemed like they had better villains, better opponents to work with. Being able to work with Andre the Giant, and people respected the hell out of Andre. So to see these guys be able to... when you look at both teams, they're both very strong, powerhouse teams. You're not going to get a lot of flashy maneuvers. Although Animal... No, I would say Hawk. Hawk had a few good, like, drop kits and stuff. But they're much more heavy hitters. And back at that time, they cared a bit more about the tag team division. When you, with exceptions, when you got into some of the 90s, it wasn't really until the Attitude Era where that came back. Because the Attitude Era, you had the Hardy Boys, you had the New Age Outlaws, you had Edge and Christian, and others. And back then, in 87 and 91, you had, again, the Hart Foundation. You had a little bit with the Brain Busters, I believe. And like I said, Andre and you had Big Boss. But like, you had more people, the opponents to help you shine. And for my understanding, it would have been longer, but I believe one of them had some type of allergy. Like they went to Tokyo and some shellfish or crab allergy. And then Vince didn't know if he was going to have a heart attack, if something else was going on. And then they got this new guy, the Crush. If I remember Crush, who would like take the guy's head and try to crush it like a melon. They tried to make him one of Demolition, and that's when it kind of went downhill. And then Vince had gotten Legion of Doom, who were known as the Road Warriors in WCW. They're the new guys. And they try to build up this thing between them and Demolition. There's even like the Road Warriors and Ultimate Warrior versus Demolition and I forget who. And Ultimate Warrior and Legion of Doom won. But there was really never that big run payoff between those two teams. Maybe they thought, when you get these two guys that are very powerhouse hitters, punch, body slam, they don't get gassed, get tired a bit easily. It's a bit harder to work with in a long run to make it interesting for the viewer. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just a bit tougher. And then one thing led to another, and Demolition was gone. So you never really had that big payday, big fulfilling match between those two. But then when you look at WWF's, the Road Warriors were in the NWA. And they worked with people like Dusty Rhodes. And then you go from there to WCW. That's when the Road Warriors were... If you want to watch Road Warriors, that's the time to watch them. In the NWA, WCW. And that's why ultimately I would say the better tag team was the Road Warriors. But not based on WWF, based on NWA and WCW. Because you look at the fact that they were working with Dusty Rhodes. You look at the fact they were working against the Horsemen and the people involved with it. They worked with Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express. And ultimately, despite Demolition having Hart Foundation to work with, these guys have more of a better opponent. which I know it seems confusing. WWF-wise, Demolition had better opponents than Legion of Doom had. WWF-wise. Because WWF, but when they got in, again, there wasn't a whole lot for them to work with tag team-wise, other than bits of Demolition, and then Demolition was gone, and who else? Repo Man and some other guy, I mean... But the whole career, the best opponents both of these guys had was Road Warriors and NWA and WCW. Again, Dusty Rhodes, and when they were heels, or even babyface, the Horsemen, the Midnight Express, all these guys they worked with. They were in the 1989 Iron Man Tag Team Tournament and Starrcade in WCW. Because the guys they worked with could really sell their ass off, to really make Road Warriors look good, and Road Warriors were powerful, and people didn't want to boo them because they were so badass, and they did scaffold matches. That run, NWA to WCW, between both teams is the best run someone had. In terms of entertainment, in terms of fun to watch as a viewer. So that's why I would give this whole thing to the Road Warriors. Like I say, if you just WCW to WCW run, Demolition wins. If you're talking about the whole career, I would give it to the Road Warriors because of that stuff. Because then when they got to WWF, like I said, they didn't really have much opponents, because by that point, Bret Hart was going into single matches. Even Shawn Michaels was slowly... The Rockers were dissipating. He was going to single matches. I mean, the Godwins... Actually, that might have been after. That might have been after. I'm trying to think who was even around at that time from the fight. I think... the Nasty Boys. That was the big team they fought. The Nasty Boys. I think they did beat the Nasty Boys. And they won the title. And the Nasty Boys didn't even last that long in WWF. So that's when the tag team kind of dissipated. There's not a lot of opponents for them to work with that really made you go, oh shit, yeah. Other than Demolition, and the whole thing, Demolition went bye-bye, and then who is the Road Warriors going to work with that you can buy could have a chance against the Road Warriors, or again, in the WWF, they were called the Legion of Doom. They didn't really have much to play with. And then they try to force in, and they being Vince McMahon, all these people, the Road Warriors have a fucking ventriloquist doll, and a manager with the doll, and no one liked that. Even the Legion of Doom, they didn't like it. The manager, Paul Eller, no one liked this shit with this fucking ventriloquist doll. And Hawk, he had a lot of problems, drug problems, and he left, and then find stuff for Animal to do, and then pretty much... They didn't last that long the first time in WWF. People forget that. They did not last that long. Then they came back in 1998, and it was a whole new... This is the Attitude Era. This is a whole new ball game. Okay, they come back because people remember really more for the WCW NWA stuff. Because again, Legion, they had a great look with the red and the spikes and the type of face paint they had, but there really wasn't a whole lot of opponents for them. That might have been the time where they fought like the Godwins, like these pig farmers and stuff. But maybe the Headbangers, these but that they could not go anywhere because of the New Age Outlaws. New Age Outlaws was with Shawn Michaels, was with Triple H. New Age Outlaws weren't going to lose. They weren't going to lose to Road Warriors. So it'd be DQ, 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 Schmeq, lose, lose, lose. There's just nowhere for them to go. And then they try to repackage that LOD 2000, which was just lame. Sunny, a lady who, if you look up some of the shit she's going on now, fucking killed someone with a car. Because she gets fucked up all the time, and she was driving and someone fucking died because she accidentally hit the person. And she got like DUIs like by the dozens or something before that point. And I don't know if she's in jail now or where the fuck, but that, I mean, beautiful lady back in the day. Beautiful lady, much better than Sable. Well, actually, Sable was good looking, to be fair, too. I can't lie. Sable was good looking, but Sonny had a bit more of a personality. Or as Jim Cornette would say, Sonny was an upfront cunt, and Sable was a backdoor cunt. So Sonny seemed like the more likable, even though I heard she was... They're both bitchy, but Sonny would be bitchy to your face. So, more my kind of woman than someone bitchy behind your back. And that was a terrible run. I mean, Sonny didn't fit with the Road Warriors. I mean, with the Body Donnas, that tag team, she fit more with that. What, like, Sonny with the Road Warriors would be like Scary Cherry. Remember Scary Sherry? Rest in peace, Sensational Sherry. If Sherry... Hell, if she was with Hulk Hogan and fucking Macho Man Randy Savage when they were a tag team, it just didn't make sense. Like, not Miss Elizabeth? Well. And that's when they did that stupid shit, because Hawk had problems, and probably Vince fucking Russo did this. I would bet fucking... Well, no, I can't bet money on it. I could be wrong. So I could be just passing blame. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if it was fucking Vince Russo's idea. But to say that I can't remember the exact year where he left and went to WCW. But Hawk, they put his problems on the TV, and oh, he's going to jump in this fake suicide jump, and he's going to jump, he's going to jump. It was in bad taste, and you're making light of a real problem and what Hawk is going through. No one liked it. It was stupid. You also had Draws come in there. If you ever see this thing Beyond the Mat, the guy who's with Vince McMahon, and he said, I'm going to be called Puke. And Vince is like, he's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. Because the guy said he could puke on command. But then he was called Draws, and he became part of the Legion of Doom. And then sadly, I mean, that led to him in a match. Maybe it was after. Was it after he was a Legion of Doom? I can't remember. It led to a match with, I forget who, and then he got paralyzed from the neck down. Which was very sad. So, then, and it's sad looking back. A lot of these names I mentioned have passed away. I mean, of course, Andre passed away. Big Boss Man passed away. Mentioned the Ultimate Warrior, he passed away. Mentioned Macho Man Randy Savage, he passed away. Got Crush, he passed away, I believe. Dusty Rhodes passed away. Both of the Road Warriors have passed away. Hawk first, then the Animal passed away. I forget, someone mentioned about how you look at like a Survivor Series. I think it was that. And it's sad because you look at how the guys in Demolition are like the only guys alive. Because like the Road Warriors passed away, Ultimate Warrior passed away. I forget the guy they were with passed away. I don't know if it was Mr. Perfect or if it was... I can't remember who. And even like Howard Finkel passed away, who was the announcer, Fuck, a lot of people passed away in wrestling. What can you do? Haku, I think he passed away. God. No, go figure. I mean, Action Smash, for a lot of the people I mentioned, they're two of the only people left in all the, again, the folks I mentioned in this. the sad true effects of wrestling and maybe even other extracurricular activities. But anyway, getting back to this, to repeat myself, WWF, if strictly comparing the two, Demolition, I think at that time they were much over in the WWF universe. They had a much better run. Again, they were champions for over 400 days. Again, they had better opponents like Big Bossman, Andre, and such to fight against. Heart Foundation. While in WWF, Legion of Doom, they didn't. I mean, in '98, the Godwins, New Age Outlaws, they would always lose or DQ. LD 2000, the embarrassing run. But the full career, I would give the Road Warriors because of working with all those Horsemen, Midnight Sprint, all those guys. That's the big heyday for them. And it's kind of like Vader. Like Vader passed away. You looked at his WWF run, it wasn't much because they didn't know how to deal with Vader, as in how to market Vader. They wanted to call him the Mastodon because Vince McMahon didn't know shit about Vader and how to use him. Like, he should be this unstoppable monster, but they did the stop, start. Then Shawn Michaels was a fucking pussy, going, yeah, he's hurting me too much. But yeah, Shawn Michaels is the type of guy that would fucking hurt someone and not give a shit about it. And you see that match between Shawn Michaels and Vader, and then Shawn in the middle needs his pussy powder going, move, you idiot, move. Yeah, so everyone can see you, you fucking tool. He's good in the ring, but Shawn Michaels is a fucking dickhead. And I think he's still a fucking dickhead. I think his whole religious angle is bullshit. Because all the things you've heard, he hasn't changed one goddamn bit. Except maybe now God himself doesn't want to talk to him anymore. Maybe that's why he lost all his fucking hair with the googly eye. But anyway. Shawn Michaels is a good performer, but fuck Shawn Michaels. For being a dickhead. Plus, I'm more of a Bret the Hitman Hart fan. If anyone knows any dealers out there that has like all the Bret the Hitman Hart matches on a DVD-R, especially when he was a good guy, like there's Bret the Hitman Hart DVDs, but I mean like even the quick matches, like 2-minute matches, like when he was getting away, even some of the Hart Foundation, like I don't know if anyone has ever done that, like try to find all the matches he's done. I wonder if there's any deals that do that. They find all the matches a wrestler has done as much as they can, and they have like a chronological, this is him, blah, blah, blah. I'm surprised someone hasn't done that and then just sell it. I would buy it. Anyway, I'm going off tangent again. So again, I guess better tag team for me is the Road Warriors. Which is the NWA WCW run. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.